In the wild, wild dogs rely on coordination rather than individual strength. Each stride connects seamlessly as part of a sustained strategy. When facing another predator, the pack creates steady pressure that forces the rival to back away. Across the animal kingdom, what is more formidable than a pursuit that never pauses? Wild dogs, weighing around 80 pounds, stand out for their strong pack discipline and exceptional cohesion. A powerful jaw structure gives them a clear advantage, even without a large body size. Their flexible ears and sharp senses help detect movement within dense brush. In the wild, they become highly disciplined and persistent hunters. Yet it is the responsibility of raising their young that drives the entire pack to keep going. In the animal kingdom, an adult lion stands as a powerful symbol of strength and territorial control. With a muscular build weighing over 400 pounds and a strong jaw, it commands caution from many other predators. Yet that dominance is constantly tested by African wild dogs, a species known for one of the most disciplined forms of pack coordination. The relationship between these two forces is marked by repeated tension, where the balance of survival is quickly challenged whenever their paths cross. When a lone lioness attempts to take food from a wild dog pack, the group rapidly shifts into a surrounding formation. More than 15 individuals hold a distance of just a few feet, constantly changing direction, accelerating, then pulling back to force the lioness into a defensive turn. In another critical moment, when one wild dog is pushed into danger, the entire pack responds immediately. They close in from multiple angles, maintaining steady pressure and creating continuous psychological strain. This disruption forces the lion to lose focus, allowing the endangered member to regain space and move out of the threat zone. As the dust settles, a clear lesson emerges. The lion draws strength from muscle, but disciplined coordination and flexible tactics allow wild dogs to shape the outcome. At the water's edge in Africa, silence can sometimes be the most dangerous signal of all. The Nile crocodile is a master of ambush, nearly blending into murky water and capable of a bite force exceeding about 3,000 pounds per square inch. For any animal stepping in to drink, a misstep of just a few feet can turn a safe zone into a line between safety and risk. Wild dogs understand this rule well. After a long pursuit, thirst draws the pack toward the riverbank, but they do not rush in without order. Adult members keep their spacing, constantly watching the surface and giving short signals to maintain formation. Then, a younger individual, driven by thirst, moves a step too close, and the water suddenly breaks. That instant is enough to trigger the crocodile's ambush instinct, yet the pack does not scatter. They circle back, spread out in multiple directions, and maintain coordination to pull pressure away from the edge. There is no prolonged panic, only collective response, cohesion, and a clear resolve not to leave one behind. As they move away from the riverbank, what remains is more than just an escape. It serves as a reminder that loyalty and pack discipline can define the line between safety and danger. For wild dogs, when a crocodile approaches or contests a meal, choosing to withdraw at the right moment is often the safer option. Spotted hyenas are a distinctive rival to wild dogs on the African savanna. An adult can weigh around 190 pounds with a powerful jaw and remarkable resilience. While wild dogs stand out for speed, short signals, and coordinated pursuit, hyenas rely on direct pressure. One side prevails through rhythm, the other through endurance and numbers. Tension between them is almost inevitable. Hyenas often watch from a distance as wild dogs hunt hoofed animals, waiting for the moment when the pack has expended energy before moving in to disrupt, and at times take over the prize. When a confrontation begins, the hyena's calls can draw in additional members, turning a recent success into a prolonged standoff that can last more than 30 minutes. In these situations, wild dogs shift into a flexible defensive approach. A few individuals hold position, while others rotate to create pressure from multiple directions. This spreading effect makes it difficult for hyenas to focus on a single target. If the numerical pressure becomes too great, the wild dogs will withdraw to conserve their condition. Between these two forces, the outcome does not belong to the faster or the more persistent side, but to the one that maintains its group structure the longest. In the wild, survival is often the art of preserving strength for another day. In some regions of the African savanna, the pressure to feed their young forces wild dog packs to expand their range toward the edges of dense woodland. Here, they encounter baboons, an intelligent and highly alert opponent with a defensive structure that is difficult to break. Adult male baboons often display canine teeth nearly 2 inches long to protect the group, forcing the dogs to keep their distance and constantly adjust their approach angles. Against an opponent that can climb, coordinate, and react quickly, wild dogs cannot rely on individual strength. They depend instead on patience, speed, and spatial separation tactics. A few individuals surge forward as a distraction, drawing the attention of the defending males. At the same time, faster members circle along the flanks, applying pressure from multiple directions and gradually disrupting the baboon's formation. When the troop moves up into tall acacia trees for safety, the dogs do not rush. They hold their positions below, turning the escape route into a sustained zone of pressure. The opportunity appears only when a slower juvenile falls out of sync and drifts away from the group's protection. In that brief moment, the advantage no longer belongs to the most intelligent side, but to the one that maintains its formation the longest. In Africa, antelope appear as the natural world's track and field athletes. From the small Thompson's gazelle to the agile kudu and impala, they possess remarkable speed, powerful leaps, and sharp changes in direction. Among the fastest individuals, speeds can approach nearly 50 miles per hour. Yet against some of the most disciplined minds in nature, burst speed is never an absolute advantage. The pursuit often begins as the first light spreads across the grasslands. Rather than relying on passive ambush, wild dogs spread out in a wide fan formation to read the movement of the herd. Over distances that stretch for miles, each member takes turns setting the pace, maintaining pressure and forcing the prey to change direction again and again. While antelope hold an advantage in short bursts of speed, their endurance falls well behind that of wild dogs. As the chase continues, fatigue builds, and the muscles of the prey gradually lose flexibility. Their jumping reflex weakens, the gap closes with every breath, and the pack steadily tightens its formation. When the pursuit moves into narrow trails, thorny brush, or slippery dry stream beds, the advantage of wild dogs becomes even more apparent. There, sharp turns make it difficult for antelope to maintain speed. Without missing a moment, the pack advances with precision, spreading in from multiple directions. Through strict discipline, they turn the terrain into an integral part of the hunt. In the wild, African wild dogs do not dominate through muscle, but through collective intelligence and strict pack discipline. With speeds reaching about 45 miles per hour and constant coordination, they rank among the most effective hunters on the savannah. Under many conditions, their success rate has been recorded at up to around 80%. When encountering African buffalo, wild dogs rarely confront a strong adult directly. They look for weaknesses within the formation, often targeting a calf, a fatigued individual, or one that becomes separated from the herd. The pack spreads out, keeps its distance, and continuously shifts direction to force the target to turn again and again. As the defensive line stretches, a slower individual can easily become isolated behind. Against African elephants weighing around 12,000 pounds, wild dogs are even more cautious. A full-grown elephant represents a boundary that is nearly impossible to cross. But when a calf drifts out of formation, an opportunity briefly appears. The pack tests from multiple angles, applying short bursts of pressure while observing the response. The elephants react even faster. Adults' close ranks guide the calf to the center and turn their formation into a living barrier. A single decisive step forward is enough to shift the entire space. The wild dogs withdraw, yielding to the discipline of the elephant herd. Across the savannah, the true strength of wild dogs lies in knowing when to stop and waiting for the next opportunity to emerge. The grasslands fall silent as the lion's burst of speed loses its perfect timing. One wrong angle turns the hunt into a moment where the prey pushes back against the lion. Horns, hooves, and defensive kicks begin to test the predator's advantage. As other predators move in, the lion's setback becomes even more tense. Can the ruler of the plains regain control before it is too late? Across the open grasslands of Africa, the impala appears as a symbol of speed and reflex. Its compact body, long legs, ability to sprint at nearly 50 miles per hour, and leaps of more than 9 feet help it escape many dangerous moments. It does not have the large horns of an oryx or the heavy build of a wildebeest. Instead, the impala survives through agility, sharp eyesight, and the ability to change direction in an instant. For lions, the impala is a potential target because of its moderate size and its frequent presence near herds and waterholes. But that same familiarity makes it constantly alert. A lion must blend into tall grass, tree shadows, and every patch of cover to close the distance before launching a sudden burst forward. Not every ambush succeeds. Beside a waterhole, even a carefully timed pounce can miss its line when an impala changes direction along the muddy edge. In another moment, a lion may begin its sprint from too far away. Just one step behind, it is left trailing as the impala spreads out and disappears into the landscape. Lion hunts often succeed less than 30% of the time, depending on terrain and hunting strategy. Against an adult impala, the chance becomes even slimmer. Young, inexperienced, or isolated individuals are more likely to be overwhelmed. On the savannah, failure is sometimes the price of speed and patience. The animal that often makes lions cautious on the savannah is not always a larger rival, but the spotted hyena. An adult can weigh nearly 200 pounds, but its true strength lies in the clan. Hyenas survive through discipline, territorial memory, and the ability to call in others quickly. When two predators share the same land and food sources, conflict becomes almost unavoidable. Hyenas do not simply wait for what remains after a hunt. They are effective hunters, capable of coordination, angled movement, and pressure through numbers. With jaw strength measured at more than 1,000 pounds per square inch, they become formidable rivals. When the clan is large enough, even a young male lion can be forced into a difficult position. They do not rush in with chaos. The hyenas spread out, move closer step by step, and wear down their opponent through constant calls and shifting formations. Because of this, a lion's meal is rarely peaceful. When lionesses have just completed a successful chase, hyena silhouettes may already appear at the edge of the open ground. Calls rise, numbers grow quickly, and the pressure tightens. In these contests, the advantage often belongs to the side with greater numbers, stronger persistence, and better formation. But when a fully grown male lion charges forward, the balance can shift in an instant. Nature does not grant a crown forever to any species. Even the king of the savannah must sometimes pay the price. Unlike hyenas, the longtime rivals that often compete directly with lions over food, African wild dogs create pressure through speed, discipline, and coordination. Each individual weighs only around 80 pounds, but the entire pack creates astonishing and sustained pressure. They compete with lions across the same territory, the same food sources, and the same familiar hunting routes. A pack of wild dogs can travel dozens of miles each day, following targets with endurance and constantly shifting formation. What makes this species famous is its remarkable hunting efficiency. In many areas, African wild dogs can reach a success rate of around 80%. That effectiveness is one reason lions often see them as rivals to push away from hunting grounds. For wild dogs, the pressure does not only come from losing food, but also from the risk of a lion suddenly closing in. When a male lion appears, its muscular weight immediately changes the balance. It can take over the food, break the formation, and force the wild dog pack to scatter. Younger individuals, slower ones, or those standing away from the group are often the first to face disadvantage. In response, wild dogs do not choose to fight through individual strength. The lead individual guides the group to change direction, maintain distance, and draw the lion into exhausting feints before leaving the danger zone, especially when pups are present. If a lone lioness moves too close to the den, the entire pack may work together to apply pressure from several sides. Not out of recklessness, but to force the intruder to step back. On the savannah, discipline can sometimes be more intimidating than strength. On land, the lion is a symbol of strength and control. But along the riverbanks of Africa, that balance can change within just a few steps. The crocodile does not need to display power. With a body weighing more than 1,000 pounds and powerful jaws built for a firm grip, it turns murky water into near-perfect camouflage for a sudden move. The relationship between these two species is not a constant rivalry, but a meeting of two territories. Lions rule the grasslands, while crocodiles dominate river channels, muddy banks, and shallow crossings. When a lion pride needs to cross a river or move down to drink, the line of safety begins to fade. On the savannah, a lion can sprint at nearly 50 miles per hour over a short distance. But once it steps into the water, that speed is slowed by mud and current. Each footstep sends vibrations across the surface. Below, the crocodile remains still like an ancient shadow, waiting for the signal to come close enough for instinct to rise. A sudden rush from the water's edge can force a lion to recoil and quickly return to solid ground. It is not only a lone individual that faces risk. A young cub trailing behind the pride can also be the most vulnerable link. On the shore, the lion is power. In the water, it must respect the cold silence of the swamp. Oryx is one of the most resilient antelope species in Africa's dry lands. A large individual can weigh nearly 500 pounds, tolerate intense heat, and move steadily across open sand. Its most intimidating feature is a pair of straight, sharp horns that can reach nearly 5 feet long. That natural defense can turn a hunt into a difficult test for any predator that comes too close. To a lion, the oryx is still a source of energy worth pursuing, but it is not easy prey to overpower. When two lions lower their bodies and move through the bushes to close the distance, the oryx usually does not panic. It keeps its front facing the danger, lowers its center of gravity, and waits for the right moment. As the lion moves in, the horns immediately point forward. The oryx may toss its head, turn its body, or step back in a short burst to disrupt the attack. The predator's formation slips off balance, and their overwhelming advantage begins to break. On the savannah, hunting instinct alone is not enough. Experience and discipline decide who keeps control. Before the roar is heard, the savannah often falls into an unusual silence. Sometimes, the first sign is a herd of wildebeest suddenly changing direction, while faint lion silhouettes appear behind the golden grass. The wildebeest is large, powerful, and difficult to control. Weighing around 600 pounds, it can sprint at nearly 50 miles per hour when pressured. Its curved horns help maintain distance from predators. The lions understand that strength alone is not enough. The pride must read the wind, lower their bodies, and advance step by step in silence. Their target is often an individual that is slower, inexperienced, weakened, or separated from the herd. Once the distance closes, the chase begins suddenly. One lion applies pressure from behind, while another cuts off the flank, forcing the wildebeest to search for an escape route within seconds. But if the prey maintains its rhythm, changes direction at the right moment, and avoids isolation, the trap can collapse. Even moments at the water's edge can become dangerous. Yet for a sable antelope weighing nearly 500 pounds, the shoreline may also become a defensive position. It turns its body, lowers its horns, and blocks the lioness's angle of approach. Just one small mistake can shift the advantage completely. The orca does not enter a hunt relying on luck. One surge through the cold water is enough to reveal the precision of an ocean strategist. During the chase, every turn of the body and every wave creates a decisive advantage. Even other predators can lose direction under the pressure of coordinated teamwork. Once the orca locks onto a target, who is fast enough to escape the pursuit? The orca is the largest member of the dolphin family, carrying the presence of an ocean ruler. A mature individual can grow more than 30 feet long and weigh around 12,000 pounds. The orca's strength does not come from being alone, but from family, memory, and coordination. When strategy, sound, and speed become one, they stand among the ocean's top predators. Humpback whales are symbols of great migrations, often called the singers of the ocean for their complex sound systems beneath the surface. At around 50 feet long and weighing more than 80,000 pounds, they carry long paddle-like pectoral fins and a powerful instinct to protect their young. But journeys across thousands of miles of ocean can bring mother and calf pairs into the path of orcas. Against a target many times larger, orcas do not rely on individual strength. They use a strategy of pressure and separation, sometimes lasting for hours during extreme encounters. One group applies pressure around the back and movement path, forcing the young whale to lose rhythm. Another group creates water pressure to separate the calf from the mother's protection. The peak of their strategy lies in a quiet approach and misdirection. Orcas stir the water along one side, causing the mother whale to react with protective instinct. In that brief moment of disrupted timing, the calf moves away from safety and enters a second circle of pressure. Once the vulnerable young whale is separated and losing momentum, the encounter reaches its final stage under the discipline of the pod. By using the mother whale's own protective response to separate the target, Orcas reveal one of the most refined hunting minds in the ocean. In many cold and temperate oceans, the great white shark remains a symbol of solitary power. A large individual can weigh more than 5,000 pounds and deliver a bite force measured in thousands of pounds per square inch, powerful enough to make many predators keep their distance. But in the ocean, even that fearsome symbol can become a target. Orcas do not confront the shark through recklessness. They approach with observation, maintain distance, and exploit every weakness in the shark's reactions. One individual moves in close to force a change in direction, while another cuts off the escape route from the side. As the shark's movement pattern breaks apart, the great white gradually loses the advantage of being a solitary hunter. In regions such as South Africa and Gulf of California, several observations have shown orcas turning great white sharks upside down. This can place the shark into a temporary motionless state known as tonic immobility. Afterward, the orcas focus on a high-value nutritional source, showing how specialized their feeding strategy can be. Dolphins are among the most intelligent and agile animals in the ocean. Known for their social nature, they travel in pods, communicate through sound, and coordinate closely while feeding. Their remarkable swimming ability allows them to reach speeds of more than 20 miles per hour when chasing prey or escaping danger. But in the waters of False Bay, that speed has faced an even greater force: the orca. Although both belong to the dolphin family, orcas are larger, heavier, and far more organized during the hunt. When schools of fish gather, both species may enter the same waters. For certain orca groups that specialize in hunting marine mammals, those encounters quickly become a test of survival. From the deep water below, the orcas suddenly rise, breaking the surface with heavy breaths and the pressure of their massive bodies. Survival instincts immediately take over. The dolphins accelerate, change direction, and try to maintain a safe distance. But the orcas do not charge in recklessly. They force the pod to turn repeatedly, disrupting the rhythm of the group. The sustained pressure and separation tactics gradually push weaker or slower individuals away from the protection of the pod. Once close enough, the orcas use body force, waves, and powerful surges to disorient their target. Some dolphins are lifted above the surface by the force of the encounter, sometimes rising more than 10 feet in only seconds. Moments later, the orca pod tightens the circle with precise coordination. It is one of nature's clearest lessons. Speed may offer a chance to survive, but intelligence and teamwork are often what decide the outcome of the hunt. In an orca's diet, seals do not make up a fixed share, because each population has its own hunting culture. For groups that specialize in marine mammals in polar waters, seals are a high-energy food source. With bodies weighing around 800 pounds, rich in fat, and often resting on ice, they are difficult to reach but highly valuable. In the drifting ice of Antarctica, ice floes become temporary shelters for seals. On the ice, they may seem separated from the dangers of the ocean. But that same place of safety creates the opening for one of the orca's most famous strategies. To locate a target, orcas watch from a distance, lift their heads to scan, and approach as a group. Once the position is clear, the wave-washing technique begins. The pod lines up side by side, accelerates together, and uses its bodies to push water toward the ice. Waves several feet high surge forward, tilting the ice and breaking the seal's balance. This process can repeat many times, sometimes lasting nearly half an hour, until the seal slips into the water. Then the circle closes, and the encounter reaches its final stage very quickly. In some observations, the success rate reaches about 75%. It is also a field lesson, where adult orcas adjust the rhythm so younger ones can learn how to hunt. In nature, the greatest legacy is not territory, but knowledge passed through generations. For orcas, seamless coordination turns ocean waves into the hunting art of collective intelligence. Not every orca hunt takes place in the open ocean. Some strategies begin right at the edge between surf and shore, where even the smallest mistake can cost the predator dearly. In Patagonia, orcas demonstrate why they are considered master strategists of the sea. Despite their massive bodies, they do not rush onto the beach at random. They read the coastline, wait for the tide, choose the right wave, and accelerate at the precise moment. During these short bursts, orcas can exceed 35 miles per hour, performing the technique known as intentional stranding to reach young sea lions before sliding back into the ocean. But when hunting stingrays, the strategy changes completely. In shallow water only a few feet deep, the orcas do not rely on overwhelming force. They search close to the seafloor, use the ocean bottom as a natural barrier, maintain a careful angle to avoid the venomous tail, and gradually reduce every possible escape route. That is the true mastery of the orca, turning the environment itself into a survival advantage. Not every hunt in the ocean begins with speed. Some encounters begin with waiting. Along a migration route of about 10,000 miles, a gray whale mother guides her calf away from the warm lagoons and back toward the north. For an adult whale, it is a familiar journey. But for the calf, every nautical mile is a new challenge. It must learn to keep pace, surface to breathe at the right moment, and stay close to the protection of its mother. Across a wide stretch of ocean, orcas appear. Not loudly, not in a rush, they keep just enough distance to create pressure. Some individuals shadow the pair from the sides. Others move behind them, gradually narrowing the safe space around the gray whales. The gray whale mother is nearly 49 feet long, large enough to become a living wall between her calf and danger. But the orcas do not try to break through that wall with immediate force. They take turns pressing the direction of travel, forcing the mother and calf to constantly change rhythm. Time becomes the weapon. As the calf begins to lose its pace, the protective distance slowly stretches apart. That is the moment the orca pod has been waiting for. In the open ocean, victory doesn't always belong to the strongest, but to the ones patient enough to turn every small movement into a survival advantage. The crocodile strikes at the exact moment its target believes the water is safe. At the river's edge, every creature must approach what it both needs and fears. The most dangerous predator rarely reveals itself too soon. It allows the other to step into a disadvantage before closing in with precision. Why does the water become the most dangerous hotspot in the animal kingdom? For an adult crocodile, antelope are among the most vital sources of survival, especially when the dry season forces herds to gather at the water's edge. Yet, overcoming these targets has never been simple. Antelope are built with explosive muscle, sharp horns, and powerful kicks. Their sudden bursts of speed often allow them to escape danger in an instant. Among them, the impala remains the most common target, even as it maintains constant vigilance. Each time it lowers its head to drink, it repeatedly lifts it to scan for the slightest change in its surroundings. Reading this rhythm, the marsh predator waits patiently near the bank, choosing the precise moment to disturb the surface. Even though an impala can leap up to about 10 feet high, a sudden close-range surge can still halt that escape. With waterbuck, the encounter takes on a different pattern. Their oily, water-resistant coat allows them to move into deeper water to shake off land predators. However, this decision can lead them directly into a crocodile's hidden position. In that environment, their advantage on land is no longer effective. When facing larger species such as kudu or eland, the crocodile must draw the encounter into deeper water. Without firm ground beneath them, the antelope's physical strength is noticeably reduced. At that point, a bite force estimated at around 3,000 pounds per square inch becomes a decisive advantage. Despite its formidable ambush strategy, a crocodile's success rate is only about 30%. This number reflects the unforgiving reality of survival in the wild. Under the vast skies of East Africa, the Great Migration stands as one of the most intense survival journeys on Earth. More than 1.5 million wildebeest travel long distances in search of fresh grasslands. But the greatest challenge lies not on the savanna, but in the rivers that block their path. The Mara River appears as a stark boundary between opportunity and risk. Murky water, steep banks, and slick mud quickly strip away the wildebeest's mobility, turning the crossing point into an ideal setting for Nile crocodiles to wait in ambush. As pressure builds from behind, those at the front are almost forced to move first. It is in the moment of disrupted formation that crocodiles apply their most effective strategy. They do not need to pursue over long distances. Instead, they wait for the current, the crowding, and the rising tension to slow their targets. A single misstep in the water, a brief loss of balance, and the advantage can shift instantly. With large bodies and powerful jaws, crocodiles rely on position and timing to dominate in the water. In that environment, land speed is no longer a reliable advantage, and herd instinct cannot always hold formation. Each crossing of the Mara River becomes not just a passage, but a demanding test of survival. Here, the winner is not always the fastest, but the one that understands where its advantage truly lies. Crocodiles and hippos share the freshwater systems of Africa, yet they represent two very different forms of power. The crocodile is a silent ambush predator, relying on patience, concealment, and sudden close-range strikes. The hippo, in contrast, is defined by intense territorial behavior, a body that can exceed 3,000 pounds, and jaws that can open to nearly 150 degrees as a warning display. This contrast is why crocodiles rarely choose direct confrontation with an alert adult hippo. Opportunities usually appear at the edge of the group, when a calf drifts away from its mother or moves beyond the protective circle by a few feet. In that moment, the seemingly calm water can become a point of ambush. The crocodile quietly closes the distance, taking advantage of the calf's inexperience before the mother's defense can fully form. But once the mother appears, the situation shifts almost instantly. She moves forward, pressing the crocodile back toward areas where other adult hippos are present. Under the pressure of massive bodies, decisive reactions, and strong protective instincts, the crocodile recognizes that staying would place it at a disadvantage. The lesson for an ambush predator is clear. Withdrawing at the right moment is not failure, but the most effective way to survive. On the African savanna, African wild dogs are among the most effective pack hunters on land. Each adult typically weighs around 70 pounds. They are not as massive as lions, but they make up for it with endurance, speed, and precise coordination in every chase. When the dry season stretches on, thirst drives the entire pack to the most dangerous place, the water's edge. Beneath the muddy river, the crocodile nearly disappears in the shallow water. It stays low beneath the surface, revealing only subtle signs, just enough to mislead eyes tired from the heat. When one member of the pack steps close to the bank, the margin of safety narrows within seconds. The crocodile can burst forward with remarkable speed over short distances. The water suddenly churns, forcing the pack to pull back and break formation. In that instant, the advantage of numbers is no longer enough to control the situation. At other times, when the wild dogs drive their prey toward the water's edge, the crocodile quickly seizes the opportunity to claim a share. The result of an entire pursuit can shift in a single moment. In the wild, advantage never fully belongs to one species across every terrain. The cheetah is one of the most remarkable speed designs on the Savannah. With a deep chest, long, slender legs, and a spine that flexes like a spring, it can reach speeds of up to 70 miles per hour in just a few strides. Yet this optimization comes with a clear weakness. Its lightweight frame makes it less suited for direct struggles, especially on slippery terrain like the water's edge. That weakness becomes evident whenever the cheetah lowers its head to drink. This posture narrows its field of view. At the same time, its advantage in speed is no longer effective when distance suddenly shortens. Subtle ripples on the surface are quickly detected by the crocodile, triggering an ancient hunting instinct. In a single slowed moment, the water erupts, turning the riverbank into a place where the line between safety and danger fades. It is a lesson other cheetahs cannot ignore. In later crossings, or when approaching the water, heightened awareness helps them react in time to avoid danger below. In those moments, legs built for speed are no longer used to sprint, but to pivot and evade a sudden surge from the water. In nature, speed only holds true value when it is paired with the ability to choose where it is safe to survive. Lions have long been seen as symbols of power on the African grasslands. An adult male can weigh around 420 pounds, with dense muscles, strong jaws, and explosive short bursts of speed. Yet a lion's true strength lies not only in its physical ability, but also in territory control, pride coordination, and the pressure it places on nearly every land rival. That dominance begins to weaken when the lion approaches the boundary between land and water. On a hot afternoon, the scent of food near the river draws a large male toward the bank. The calm surface appears harmless, but beneath it lies the crocodile's domain. In an instant, the murky water erupts. A crocodile surges upward in a rapid ambush, forcing the lion into a reactive position on unfavorable ground. The powerful animal can only respond on instinct before quickly retreating to shore. The risk grows even greater when a lion must cross the river. Clouded water conceals the crocodile's approach, turning each stroke into a test of survival. For younger lions, curiosity and thirst can lead them too close to still water, where the margin of safety shrinks to just a few dozen feet. In reality, there have been recorded instances of crocodiles overpowering lions when they enter the water or move too close to ambush zones. This serves as a reminder that the title of strongest does not belong to one species in every place. After the encounter, the pack of wild dogs quickly returns to its familiar formation. Each individual continues to move like a link within a living hunting system. They demonstrate that the greatest advantage does not come from speed or strength alone. In the wild, unity can turn distance into control. You can like and subscribe to explore more of the quiet rules that shape the grasslands.